And we are jumping into game number 3. Let's go. Also, I have to pay out the predictions. True. There we go. Predictions are now paid out. Oh my god. Predictions were 50-50. Damn. It's pretty close. And this is potentially the final game of the series. Astrea is up 2-0 in this best of 5. Unomas, one more is all he needs to also qualify alongside Scarlet for the KSL SummerSlam. Let's go. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Altitude, we have the American Protoss player representing Matcherino Esports. It is Astrea. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player. Let me just double check. I believe representing the Starving Camels. Yeah, they're representing the Starving Camels team SSLT. It is Cyan. Quickly becoming one of my favorite teams. I love the Starving Camels. They were MVPs in this season of WTL of World Team League, and Cyan even made it this far into a qualifying match. He's had amazing upsets over the course of this year, has really made a name for himself, but he's down in this series, and it's not looking too good. I'm not too sure what happened in Game 1 and Game 2. I think they were being casted by some of the other community casters, but unsure as to how the series has progressed. But obviously Astrea is leading it and one game away from qualifying. So Cyan needs to bring it back here and now. As we are loading into Altitude, we are going for gate expands. Again, pretty economic openers, which make a lot of sense. And no pylon blocks from either player here, as yeah, we are going for straight up gate expansions here. We're not going for a cybercore first. So very economic openers all around. And both players will confirm this. Here we go. For those wondering, because there's a ramp coming into the natural, it does mean that on maps like Altitude or maps like Babylon, that's it. I was thinking of the other one. Maps like Altitude and Babylon, it is very common to go for these more economic openers in PvP. Meanwhile, Cyan, he's going to be hiding a probe, hiding a proxy. We have a pylon. Interesting. So this wouldn't be a bad location for a proxy Stargate to rally the Oracle into a mineral line. This is a little bit further away as well. This could even be something crazy like a proxy Twilight Council, but it should be a Stargate there. As the Cybercore is done, and Cyan can pick his tech of choice. There it is. It is going to be the Stargate. We're just waiting for that gas. Meanwhile, back at home, Astrea just going for a 2-gate opener after that initial Nexus. And I believe that is a full wall off, if I'm not mistaken. No way in, no way out. Oh. Yeah, there we go. So that does help against things like a DT opener, for example. It means DTs wouldn't be able to waddle into the natural. It does defend you against adepts as well, so you don't have to worry about walling off against shades. So a very safe SimCity here from Astrea. But is he going to be safe against those oracles? As across the map, Astrea is setting up a proxy pylon, which is both of them get found out. Cyan, very on top of his scouting. Should be able to shut them down. We do have a third gateway here from Astrea, a very aggressive opener, especially considering Astrea, he is staying on one gas geyser. Now he's getting a second, but his tech is very delayed. Pylon is cancelled. Astrea clearly wants to be aggressive, but at every turn, he's just being found out and being cancelled. Second Stalker is moving out, which means there is nothing at home to defend, by the way. All the units for Astrea are out on the map. Oracle goes in, and damage is being done. Probes are falling left and right. Shield battery isn't even done. Oh, and this could be game-ending damage. Meanwhile, across the map, Astrea, he does have the army lead. Takes down an adept. He's warping in 3 stalkers at a time. Astrea being all in. His economy behind this is crippled. He's throwing down another proxy pylon, but he's pushing up into 2 shield batteries. Oh my god. I don't think Astrea can break this. Another Oracle dives in, but we do have an overcharge. Astrea, he's actually chipping away at the hull of these stalkers. He's doing actual damage to them. breaking through the shields. Swinging over across the map. I can't say the same about the Oracles, as they are running out of energy. Proxy Gateway in the face of Cyan as well. It shows how aggressive, how all-in Astrea is, going for 4 gateways. Does take down the Stalker. Additional Stalkers are being warped in. Meanwhile, the Oracles are still out of energy. They're just gathering them up, looking for some more economic damage. Oof, Astrea almost within 2-shot range. Trying to take down that Cybercore. Big force field. Takes down the Stalker. Forces a recall. Again, Astrea doesn't have Blink, so force fields, they are king. As Astrea loses 4 more workers, Cyan still maintains his economic lead. He's holding on to the natural. He's on 4 gates of his own, so he's keeping up with the production of Astrea. The Cybercore is looking a little bit exposed. Cyan is holding on. And not just that, Cyan is working on a Forge, working on a Twilight Council. Cyan is getting further and further ahead. Oof. Unfortunately for Astrea, there's just no transition. Like, he's just all in. He took too much damage earlier. He can't afford to go into Blink or +1 or anything else. It's all or nothing for Astrea. He can't afford to lose probes right now. Not anymore. 3 more workers go down. Oh my god. Astrea just doubling down, proxying his Robo as well. I mean, you know, we gotta make something happen here. I appreciate the proxy Robo, but it does feel too late, right? It feels a little bit too late at this point. Cyan already has his own Immortal. +1, Blink on the horizon, all for Cyan. 3 additional gateways. He's just eclipsing Astrea in terms of production. And here we go. We have 2 Oracles into the main. We have Stalkers into the natural. Astrea in a lot of trouble. Losing 5 more workers. Astrea going double Robo? Oh my god, I didn't even notice. He threw down a 2nd Robo next to the 1st. He's crazy. He's gonna be pumping out 2 Immortals at a time. Let's go. I mean, again, we gotta do something crazy, right? At this point, at this stage of the game. Go for the Hail Mary. Send it, Papi. We have the Immortal, we have the Prism on the way as well. But the reality is that this is an uphill battle for Astrea. Can he somehow make this work? I mean, okay, so Blink isn't done. Blink is still a ways off. If Astrea fights before Blink kicks in, he can maybe use these sentries to cut up the army and take a good fight. It's possible. But Blink is going to kick in 12 seconds. Force field is thrown down. We get a couple of Zelts. We're going to get a gateway as well. Blink is now done. Cyan suddenly has so much micro potential with this army. And I love that Cyan, he's just elevating his army over towards the right-hand side. Looking for a surround. He dives on forward, blinks on top of the Prism, on top of the Immortal. Production is being camped. Force fields are keeping Cyan at bay, but he just blinks on forward anyway. He's looking to shut this down. Good juggling. GG gets called, and Cyan fights back, putting a point on the board. GG. We have a series. We have a series, and that was a pretty wild game. Unfortunately, if you remember, Astrea from very early on, he was committing to a 2-base all-in. He kept throwing down these pylons, and they kept getting scouted time and time again. Cyan was able to get a read on what Astrea was up to and delay the all-in for so long. On top of that, also cripple the economy of Astrea. And when you're going all in, like, sure, you don't have a lot of workers, but because of that, your workers are so much more valuable to the all-ending player. And Astrea was just losing a little bit too much to those oracles, really just crippling him before he could really get going. GG. GG, well played. At least we get more games. That's all we really want. We're selfish here. We want all the games, Bobby. Let's go. Let's go. As we are preparing for game number 4. Oh, hold on. There we go. Is there only one qualifier or multiple qualifiers for the SummerSlam? Only one. Only one. It's a 3-day event. So the qualifier is today, the playoff bracket starts tomorrow, and the semifinals and the finals are in 2 days. So back to back to back. 3 days in a row. Very condensed. Very condensed. So no time to breathe. No time to really settle down. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Sister, and we have the American Protoss player representing Macherino Esports, still leading the series, still one game away from qualifying for the main event. It is Astrea. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player representing the Starving Camels, SSLT. It is Cyan. Go. See the chat catching up. The fanfare. It's the best part of the stream, Poppy. Let's be real. It's all about the fanfare. The trumpets. Beautiful. I've said this before. Because we've been casting for so long and for many years at this point, and we always have the trumpets playing during the play intros. Whenever I watch something like GSL or something like DreamHack or I Am Katowice, and whenever they introduce a player, and whenever there at this point, whenever there isn't a trumpet like blaring, like my brain feels like I feel empty. I feel empty inside. I feel unsatisfied. Like, what's going on? Where are the trumpets? They've got this like epic blaring music going on for the intro, and I'm like, mate, I just want my trumpets, okay? I've just been conditioned after so long, which probably isn't a good thing, but you know, smooch. As we are getting into this, and this time we do have 2 gate openers between both of our players. Again, there is no ramp coming into the natural, so it is not safe to go for a gate expand like we saw in the previous game. So we have much more aggressive openers this time. And we do see a difference in our initial units. We have a double Stalker opener from Cyan. We have a Stalker Adept opener from Astrea. So Astrea looking to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more, I say aggressive, a little bit more scouting oriented. He's going to be able to have that one Adept to zoom across the map to try to get a read on what's going on. Maybe even bypass the defenses and maybe even get into the main. But again, with only one Adept, you're not really looking for too much damage. Interesting, we are following up with a Sentry Adept, so he will have that one-shot potential if he can join the first Adept with the second. Meanwhile, Cyan looking for map control, looking for map dominance as he goes double Stalker into 2 more Stalkers. He's moving out across the map. He's going to have a lot of firepower available. Meanwhile, Astrea, he's taking a more defensive approach. These sentries provide him a lot of defensive capabilities with force fields, of course, and they also provide a lot of scouting as well with hallucinations. The hallucinations is the most important part, to be honest. Like, honestly, you don't want to be wasting a force field this early on. The units have been revealed. Astrea does have an Adept across the map, so far just chilling here in the natural, and there is that hallucinated Phoenix. Uh-oh, it does come across the army! Oof, and it is going to get shut down. Rough start for Astrea, but he does shade into the main. Oh, he's okay. He may not scout with the hallucination, but he does scout with the Adept. He even gets 2 workers. Oh my god!
Attacking your base, you know.
Oh, he's a Diva Enjoyer. God, I keep forgetting. It's the Astrea. Does get 2 workers. He does get eyes on the Twilight Council as well. So really good use of that initial adept. Likewise, the shield battery finishes and Astrea will defend. So really well done here by our blue Protoss. We also have a very defensive follow-up. It is going to be a Robo. With this, we can get into fast immortals. We can make up for a Stalker deficit. We'll see what direction Astrea does go in as he's sending his next adept across the map. Now, he may have seen the Twilight Council opener, but it could be something like DTs. That is, of course, a possibility. Cyan is scouting his opponent and getting a read that there is no Twilight Council, no Stargate, it's a Robo opener, and no additional gateways either. Meanwhile, once again, we get 1 adept into the natural, and we get 2 more probes, not too bad. In a mirror matchup, you can see that Astrea is able to take a pretty hefty worker lead due to all the harass. I'm loving the hallucinated immortal. Let's go, buddy. Let's go. Astrea going to be moving out across the map. Now, the goal here, he doesn't intend to break the natural. He's going to posture, he's going to distract the main army, and he's going to slip in from behind with some adepts. Oh, the immortal is revealed. Cyan has to take this seriously. Goes down a second pylon. You can see him rotating over with the rest of his army. Respecting the positioning here of Astrea. Meanwhile, Astrea slips into the main. And Astrea pulls back. Again, he was just puffing up his chest with the main army. The adepts do make it into the mineral line. 2 workers. We're going to get even more than that. 3, 4, at least 5. And this is already well worth it. Cyan, losing so much mining time as well. 6 probes go down. Can we get 7? Oh my god. Calm down. 8 probes and mining time as well. And a full scout, confirming 2 more gateways as well as +1 on the way. The adept drop, well worth it here for Astrea. Back at home, we have a real immortal. We have a second real immortal on the way as well. Blink on the horizon. Oh, but Cyan, he can blink into the main. He does have a more mobile army. Astrea still a ways off from his own blink. Cyan shouldn't be able to get too much. Astrea is in position, does fend him off. He's going to be able to rotate on over to keep up with Cyan. We force field, but Cyan loses a sentry in the process. Meanwhile, 2 more adepts, they shade into the natural once again. The adept harass is insane. Astrea up 7 workers. Cyan blinks into the main once again, gets a pylon. He's been getting pylons, which is okay. It's better than nothing, but not really enough. Oh no! Fortunate pathing there from Cyan, loses another stalker. And Astrea is just getting further and further ahead. Now the advantages of Cyan are not there anymore, you know, suddenly Astrea's catching up. We have blink for Astrea. He's still down in upgrade. That's going to be the big thing that Cyan has to flex. He's got +1. He's working on +2 as we speak. That will help. But that's really the only thing that Cyan has. Looking at the units tab, Cyan, he's also ahead in Stalkers, to be fair. He's got 12 Stalkers. But 3 Immortals make up for that. They more than make up for additional Stalkers. Oh, as I say that. Oh, the Immortal. 1 Immortal does go down for free. A good start for Cyan. A good pickup. He recalls back home. He's in position. He has shield batteries. He has an overcharge. He's going to be able to hold on. At the same time, another prism into the main. No adepts this time. Cyan can rest easy. The adepts, leave him alone, Poppy. Leave him alone. Cyan, he just wants to make workers. But upon losing that 3rd immortal, or the 1 immortal from Astrea, he's going to back off. Not feeling too confident about his chances. He's going to focus on saturating his 3rd, and he's taking his 4th. And he's taking up from here. Just getting further ahead. With that economy, he's able to take up into Archons and Charge Lots. Just refining his army. Meanwhile, Cyan is about to kick in with +2. Does have his own Gateway Explosion. Still staying on a very heavy Stalker Immortal-based composition. Which means that Cyan is going to get outscaled over time. Also, there is no Templar Archives. What does that mean for Cyan? That means that even though he has +2, he cannot start +3. And Astrea can. Astrea's catching up. He's catching up in those upgrades. Getting further ahead in the base count. Cyan is going to be moving out across the map. Looking at the army supplies here, Cyan is heavily ahead in the Stalker count. Down in the Immortal count, the army is going to be spotted. Do we have... Oh, we don't have a shield battery. Uh-oh. Astrea doesn't have the best defensive position. He's throwing down 2 shield batteries as we speak. He's got charge lots. He's got Archons. He can hold on for now. Oh, you can see this is still a messy fight. Force fields are thrown down, but the Immortals are saved. This is still a very delicate dance between the 2 players. The Immortals are doing very well here for Astrea. Oh my god, as I say that, we blink on forward, one of them goes down. But the blink is going to be punished, and Cyan does bleed out a lot of those Stalkers. Astrea, with continued Immortal production, just replaces the one he lost. And it looks like Astrea, with a better concave, he has a bit too much here. Shield batteries are finishing up. Cyan, though, again, fighting back hard. Waiting for the moment where he can just pounce on those Immortals. Takes down the Stalker. He's getting hull damage done as well. But now we're up to 4. As the Immortal count gets higher and higher, these Stalkers, they're becoming less effective. As Astrea is able to just take this slow and steady. 5th base on the way. Cyan just now throwing down his 4th. Recognizing that he cannot break Astrea. And in the midst of all this, we have a massive Zealot warp in towards the 3rd. Workers are going down. Cyan, he was already behind in the economy. Overcharge is going to buy him some time. But the Prism gets into the main. Oh! Good movement, though. Prism goes down. Cyan does snipe it, but there's still Zealots everywhere. They're all over the place. They get back into the mineral line. And this does feel like a slow death for Cyan. Meanwhile, there's +3 already halfway done for Astrea. Now getting ahead in the upgrades. He blinks on forward. A bit of awkward movement there from Astrea, though. He exposes his Immortals. But it doesn't matter. The Zealots are going ham. Astrea may lose his Immortals, but he wins the fight as he overpowers Cyan. From here, Cyan forced to back off, forced to go back home. Again, that was a bit of miscontrol out of Astrea. We saw like the move command on the Stalkers. So this is still a little bit close. Like, Cyan could maybe try to pick apart this army, especially considering Astrea is going for a big counterattack. But this counterattack is going to get damage done. There we go. Forces a recall. And Astrea fully saturating his 5th. Zealots collapsing on those Stalkers as well. We have so many Archons. Oh my god. And in a couple of seconds, we will have +3. Astrea going to be ahead in almost every aspect. And again, things were looking a little bit closer earlier, but Astrea was relentless this game with the Adept Harass, followed by more Adept Harass, and even more Adept Harass. It's crazy. And of course, being able to keep up with Cyan. And here we go. He's going to dive into the 4th base. Shield battery overcharges pop, but it does go down. Astrea with the move command does take a lot of hits for free. But once again, he has enough reinforcements coming in from behind. Getting on top of the Stalkers. We do have a surround, though. Can Cyan hold on? I mean, he's trading well. He's getting some of these Archons, but he's still losing too many Stalkers. Too much is going down. Zealot's coming from behind. We get a full surround. GG gets called, and Astrea will take the series 3-1. being the final player to qualify for the KSL Summer Slam. GG. GG, well played, Astrea, the last player here tonight to make it all the way through the qualifiers and join Scarlet, join Ragnarok, and Creator as well in that main event. GG. GG, well played. Oh. Congratulations. And do we have the technology? Can we quickly have a look at all the players that are going to be in that event? Oh, it's not going to be pretty, but I think we can. Hold on. Un momento, papi. Un momento. As we do switch our scenes over. As we do switch our scenes over and have a look at the main event. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look yourselves. Of course, we do have the links to the Wikipedia page as well as the challenge bracket as we scroll. Oh, sorry. Here we go. As we do scroll down a little bit, this is the main event itself. We have 8 invited players. Hold on, I can make this prettier. Okay. A little bit. It's fine. But we have 8 invited players. We have, from the side of the Protoss, we have Classic and Hero. Of course, 2 of the best Protosses in Korea. From the Terran, we have Byun, Kyor, Gumiho, and Maru. 4 best Terrans in Korea. And Dark alongside Solar, the best Zerg players in South Korea as well. So no surprises when it comes to the invites. For those wondering, they are invited, but they are invited based on their performances in KSL. If you are maybe unfamiliar with what KSL is, it's the Korean StarCraft League. It is a weekly tournament hosted by Dave Testa and Chicken Man and funded by the community. Exclamation mark KSL in the chat. The command will give you a link to the Patreon. There's a Patreon for KSL, and because the Patreon has been so successful, because it's been making so much money, the organizers, Dave and Chicken Man, they decided, you know what? Because we have some excess cash here, we're not going to just be making weeklies, we will also host a couple of seasonal events. And with that money that was set aside, that is where the Summer Slam comes in. That is why this event exists, because, again, because the Patreon is so successful, and you can be a part of it as well. You can gain replay packs, and there are some other benefits, so check out the Patreon. Again, the command... well, I'll make sure the command is in the chat. There it is, exclamation mark KSL. No Europeans. Europeans are very rare in KSL. I mentioned before, but the invites are based off of performances in the weekly tournaments, and the Europeans, they don't really play in the weekly tournaments. Not too often. Every now and then we get a player like maybe a Dimaga or a Wayne or something, but yeah, typically it is dominated by the Koreans, and that is where these invites come in. Meanwhile, from the qualifiers, you can see them there. Astrea, Creator, Ragnarok, and Scarlet. So it's great to see that we have some variety here. We have a couple of North Americans getting involved. For those wondering, of course, Astrea and Scarlet are currently living in South Korea. It's Astrea, Scarlet. I think Future may still be there. Future was there for a while. I think he still is. Future and maybe Zane as well. I know the 4 of them were there for quite some time, for a couple of months. In the lead up to ESL Masters Winter, of course, ESL Masters Winter. So yeah, really cool to see Astrea and Scarlet pulling on through. They are the best that NA have to offer, alongside Trigger, to be fair, the 3 of them, top 3 in NA. So yeah, really great to see them that are going to be performing. And if you're wondering, when is the main event? Tomorrow, in less than 24 hours. The start of the broadcast today, so 20 hours. In 20 hours from now, we have the beginning of the main event. No time to breathe, no time to relax, and you can see that the players have already been seeded. As we scroll down a little bit further, we have the invited players seeded. We haven't seeded the qualified players yet, not yet. So you can see here the Terrans are all spread out. Oh, balance. You love to see it. We have Kyor, Gumiho, Maru, and Byun. Oh, actually, that's brutal. Despite the Terrans being spread out, Maru and Byun are on the same side of the bracket. The best friends, they're going to be facing off against each other. Feels bad. Or they may face off against each other. So the Terrans are all spread out. You've got Hero at the top. You've got followed by Dark. Hero and Dark once again on the same side of the bracket. Ay, ay, ay. Funada the admins. Who's seeded this? Who's seeded this? You got Maru and Beyond on the same side, and you got Hero and Dark on the same side. God damn it. There's a bit of a meme on our channel. Hero and Beyond, they play in so many tournaments against each other. In KSL, ESL Americas, ESL Asia, Kung Fu Cup. They're always playing against each other. And even in earlier rounds as well. I mean, they are the best of their respective races in Korea, so it makes sense that they would. So yeah, they are going to be potentially facing off. Of course, there's some other big names like Cure and Maru and others to stop them. Then you got Classic and Solar towards the bottom as well. And sprinkled amongst all these players are going to be the qualified players from today. You know, Creator, Ragnarok, Scarlet, and Astrea. So it's going to be a pretty intense bracket. You know, it doesn't get easier in the main event. But wish them the best. Wish them the best of luck. We are going to be casting them tomorrow. If I'm not mistaken as well, tomorrow is going to be all of the round of 12 and the quarterfinals. So 2 rounds. 2 rounds tomorrow. And I think 2 matches are going to be played at once. We haven't decided what we want to cast first, but we'll figure it out tomorrow. we'll figure it out. There's going to be plenty of English casters. I believe it's going to be us alongside Chicken Man. I think Dave Testa. I think maybe Wardy as well. And I'm sure many other language casters. So day 1 is tomorrow. And the semifinals and the finals will be the day after tomorrow. So 3 days straight. 3 days straight of the SummerSlam. Beautiful. So yeah, look forward to it. Mark it on your calendars. Be there for the SummerSlam, and consider supporting on Patreon. Consider it. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. Used to be just Beyond Cure Zest Solar. Oh, true. Hero and Dark also just played together in a 2v2 tournament. Oh, there you go. There you go. Just catching up. Yo, shout out to State in the chat. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás, papi? State the caster. Excuse me, State, the ex-pro player on Prime. Of course. The ex-pro league player. Much love. And also maybe a bit of a caster. Regardless, with that, we are done. We are done for the night. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting as well. If you are interested, you can also support us here on the CranKy Ducklings. You can see just underneath, we have our own Patreon. !Patreon in the chat. We do host our own tournaments as well. We host events like GPO and STC and TTT. All the acronyms. Basically, we host our own variations of KSL, but for region locked. But we region lock our events to North America, to Latin America, to Southeast Asia. Here on the CranKy Ducklings, we try to support some of the smaller regions out there. So if you're interested, if you enjoy our casting, and if you are again interested in some of those smaller regions like Oceania and Southeast Asia and North America and stuff like that, then consider supporting us on Patreon as well. You can see our goal there. We currently spend 300 USD a month, and we're halfway there. We are halfway there when it comes to community support, and our goal is to get it fully funded and to grow our event as well, similar to KSL, right? To grow our tournaments, to turn them into weeklies, and to boost the prize pool, and to maybe have monthly tournaments or even these like seasonal events as well. That would be ideal. That'd be ideal. But we're on our way. We're still making our way there. You know, we've got our goals, we've got our dreams. One step at a time. Regardless, with that, thank you so much. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. I believe the social medias are posted in the chat with !Socials. And we are going to be live tomorrow. We're going to be live here tomorrow with day 2 or day one of the KSL Summer Slam with the main event. So consider following us. Consider following our channel. You can also follow myself. Oh, hold on. I have a screen for this. Yeah. You can follow myself Where's my duck? I think it's being green screen. I'll smudge. It's yellow, I promise. It's yellow. Looks chrome. Jesus. You can follow myself at light_VIP. I do stream on my own personal channel as well. But I typically like do some ladder sessions or some Final Fantasy or some other games, just, you know, to chill and to relax when I'm not casting. If you're only interested in our casting of StarCraft, then that's when you follow us on the CranKy Ducklings. Quack. That's where you follow us on the CranKy Ducklings instead, as we are live every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. So we're always live on the CranKy Ducklings, always live with something. I think we've been live every day for like 3 months or something. We don't really have days off here. Not often. So yeah, plenty of StarCraft if you're interested. And if you can't tune in live, check out the VODs. Check out the VODs on YouTube as we upload on a daily basis. So yeah, consider checking it out. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. Stick around. We're going to be giving another streamer a raid. Not too sure who we're going to be raiding. I'm just going to go through all the channels and find someone. I did hear that Ryung is raiding, so very tempted to raid Ryung. I think we will, just because Ryung has been through a hard time. Obviously, we were casting him today and he didn't qualify, but there has been some news about his old team. We also revealed some news about Team GP as well, adding to that thread. So yeah, he's, you know, he deserves your support. Definitely. So yeah, with that, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for everything, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more KSL. Until then, bye. Hasta luego.